Hello everybody, welcome back to Sunday! Yay! We're getting better at this whole motion capture thing, I think. Yeah, got more lighting and everything. I've got more space to like move around and stuff, and yeah, I think we're doing really well. Yeah, so we've got my wonderful Sundae here, which I love so much. It is Tom, Ben, and Jerry. If you remember from last week, we named him. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yep. Okay. But yeah, I'm eating my delicious ice cream. Sorry, the hair sometimes gets in my face. So yeah, last week we talked about Nana again, and so I just wanted to continue talking about Nana because I like it a lot. And that way, you know, if you're like watching these in order, you'll kind of like understand what's going on with Nana. So yeah, so this is part 3 of Nana. Oh, it's actually like the episodes, like this will be like episode 4 that I'm talking about and stuff, yeah. So yeah, Hachi finds Shoji, because they're in Tokyo visiting and stuff. Hachi finds Shoji, who's also searching for her, because Shoji realized he was dumb for leaving her out in the middle of the sidewalk in Tokyo. So yeah, he went to go look for her, and they found each other and stuff, and he's like, I'm so sorry for leaving you, that was dumb of me and I shouldn't have done that. So Hachi's like, okay, yeah, I forgive you, and stuff like that. And she did agree that she shouldn't, you know, be too sad that he's gonna go and live his life and stuff. But I mean, they're still a couple, right? Oh wait, no, they're not a couple yet. Oh my gosh, I'm so mixed up. So he realizes that Hachi does actually love him, and that kind of changes his whole mindset. He's not angry anymore. Now he's like, oh, she really does like me. Okay, so I should make more of an effort then, and stuff. So he apologizes, and then they make up, and then they actually decide to start going out, like being in a real relationship. Yeah, it's really good. It's a good thing. Yeah. So then we go back in time again, but this time we're going to Nana, the black-haired Nana, and when she first joined Black Stones. So yeah, so they just did a concert and stuff, and then they went out to celebrate afterward, and they're having a good time, and Nobu's like drinking and stuff. Is really funny. But then when Yasu goes to take Nobu home, and like Ren and Nana are gonna like go do their own thing, he mentions something to Ren about making sure you tell Nana about that thing, and I'm gonna talk to Nobu about it too. And Nana's like, what thing? And Ren's like, just talking about how the reason that Yasu shaves his head is because he's actually going bald. So funny. He made a joke. And Yasu's like, yeah, well, those who make fun of bald people go bald themselves. It's really funny. But that's not what he was actually talking about. So then later, Nana asks Ren, what was he actually talking about? So Ren admits that he actually got, not promoted, what do you say? He got asked to play bass in a new band that's big in Tokyo, like a really big band, yeah. So it would be kind of silly of him not to accept it because it's a really big deal. And of course Nana's like, yeah, I get that, okay. So yeah, he says he's got to move to Tokyo and stuff, and that makes Nana really sad, yeah. Ren asks Nana to move with him to Tokyo so they can still be together. But she doesn't want to become big and like famous and perform on big stages just from riding on Ren's coattails, you know? She wants to become famous on her own. Like not famous, but she wants to perform on big stages. So she wants to make it big as a singer on her own and not just from Ren. So she decides to stay where she's at, and she decides to break up with him. So yeah. So they decide to break up, and it's really sad, and the whole band is really sad about it because Ren is leaving them and stuff, you know. Yeah, and even Yasu, you know, doesn't know where the band is going, and he's going to law school. Yasu is. And so he decides to quit the band so that he can focus on law school. And Nobu's really sad about it because the whole band is breaking up. And Nana's she's really sad about it too, but she's more sad that she's losing her boyfriend, you know? Yeah, it's sad. But yeah, they're happy for Ren. Oh, kitty. The kitty's crying. What's up? What's wrong, kitty? What's up, kitty? My kitty's visiting today. Yep. I don't know if you can hear her meowing. She's so cute. We will order you a kitty sundae, okay? Yeah, we're gonna get her a kitty sundae. She gets her own kitty sundae that's safe for cats. Yeah, I bet she's gonna love it. So then it goes back to the present where the Nanas are living together and stuff. I know at one point Yasu knocks on the door and Hachi Nana answers, and she looks up at this really big, bald, tough guy. She's like, hi? And it's Yasu, and Yasu's like, hey, you must be Nana's roommate. And Hachi's like, uh-huh. And meanwhile, Junko and Kyosuke, remember them? They were Hachi's friends. Well, it's before she became Hachi, she was Nana. Junko and Kyosuke are worried about Hachi. They're like, Nana's living with this other girl that she knows nothing about, and so they're a little worried about her living with a stranger. And Shoji even is a little worried. He offers to have Nana Hachi live with him, but she's like, no, that's okay. She wants to make it on her own, you know. And having a roommate helps with the rent and stuff too. So she's living with Nana and not with Shoji. And then it's so funny. Hachi starts imagining that Shoji's cheating on her with this imaginary girl named Sachiko. Yeah, she's imagining this imaginary Sachiko girl that Shoji is cheating on her with, and it's really funny because she's not even a real person. Yeah, and so she brings it up to Soji, and Soji's like, who's Sachiko? So funny. And Nana's like, you know who I'm talking about. Don't you think I don't know who Sachiko is? And he's like, who's Sachiko? And it's really funny. So yeah, Nana's like, okay, he's not cheating on me. That's good. And then one day, Junko, Kyosuke, and Soji are all visiting Nana's place, and they meet Yasu because he's over there, and they see how reliable he is because he's helping black-haired Nana with some things, like turning on the water heater, because Nana comes out of the bathroom in nothing but a towel, and she's like, Yasu, I have no hot water. Why don't I have hot water? It's freezing. And Yasu's like, well, did you make sure to tell the gas company that you were living here so that they turn it on? And she's like, what? I gotta do that? And Yasu's like, yeah, I'll stop on the way over. Or he's like, I'll get their number for you or something. And it's really funny. So then they know that Yasu's around and, kind of helping them out. So they feel a lot better knowing that they're in good hands, with Yasu and stuff. So yeah, they accept her living with Nana. So yeah, Nana living together is so funny. That's also why Nana started calling Hachi. Yeah. But I don't even think that episode has come yet. So it's actually still Nana, which can be confusing, especially when I'm talking about them and you're not actually watching the show. Yeah. Yay. Food time. Oh my gosh, I love talking about food. So this week I wanted to talk about how to make hard candy. You know those little hard candies that you can get? Little hard caramels, or I don't know. There's so many different flavors and stuff. Now this is really complicated to make because it gets really hot. Sweetheart's eating her ice cream too. It's so funny. Don't worry, it's kitty safe. The only reason it'll hurt her belly is if she eats too much. In order to make hard candy, you mix the sugar, corn syrup, and water in a saucepan, right? You put the saucepan on the stove and it gets really hot and you just mix and stuff. And you mix it over medium heat and make sure to keep stirring it. until all the sugar is dissolved. And like I said, it's really messy and hot, so you gotta be super, super, super careful, okay? Make sure you're careful. Safety should be number one. You wanna stop stirring once it starts to like simmer and like boil. It's like blah, 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 right? So you wanna stop mixing, just kind of watch it, let it do its thing. And you put a candy thermometer in it and you watch the temperature go up. And once it hits 260 degrees, then you want to add the flavoring and the food coloring, right? So you get like this little tiny bottle of like flavoring, put just a few drops or whatever it says on the little bottle, and then you add just a few drops of food coloring, because a lot goes a long way. I mean, a little goes a long way. That's what I meant. A little goes a long way. Yeah. And you don't stir it, you just drop them in and you let the boiling do it, because it'll like, the boiling will actually mix it for you. So you let it boil, you don't stir it, you just let it do its thing. And if there are like little crystals that develop on the sides of the pan, the saucepan, then you want to take like a wet pastry brush, you know, like those brushes you can get. You want to take one of those and wet it, and then like, you know, clean around the edge and stuff. Yeah. Yum. And then once it reaches the temperature of 300 degrees, you carefully remove it from the hot stove, right? And if you don't have a candy thermometer to see if it reaches 300, you can use another way to check to see if it's ready. It's kind of cool. You check to see if it reaches the hard crack stage. That's what it's called, the hard crack. And you take some of the hot syrup onto a spoon and pull it out. And if it forms like these really long strings, like a thread, then it's done. But if it's just like still liquidy and stuff, it's not done yet. And then you gotta let it keep boiling until, you know, you dip it in and pull it out, and then it like forms like these really long strings. Yeah, that's when you know it's ready. So yeah, then when it's ready, you want to carefully pour, carefully pour the magma, because it's really high, it's so high, this like magma syrup into your molds or a pan. Because you know, you can have like candy molds, you know, like different shapes. It's really fun. Then you want to let it cool. You don't put it in the fridge though, because that might like ruin it, because it gets too cold too fast. You gotta let it cool naturally on its own. Just leave it on the counter and walk away, or maybe clean up your mess. And in order to clean out the pan, because like I said, as soon as you like start pouring, it starts to harden, so you have to do it really fast. It's hard. And in order to clean up your pan, because it does harden onto the pan, you fill it with water and you let it boil. You just boil water in the pot, and then it should break apart the stickiness, and you can stir it and stuff too, and you just kind of like break it apart, let it melt again, and yeah. So that's like a helpful tip to clean the pan when you're done, because it gets really hard and sticky. Yeah, it's a mess. But once it's all nice and cool, then you can break it up into little tiny bits. And it's like glass, so be very careful, because it can be pretty sharp. I've actually cut myself on the hard candy before too. In fact, I almost always cut my tongue on it sometimes. No, that's suckers. Oh yeah, you can make lollipops out of it too. So instead of like a pan or like the candy molds, you can get like sucker molds, and you can get the candy or the sucker sticks, you know, and you put those on there, and then when you pour it in, the sucker stick will be on there. Yeah, that's what I usually cut my tongue on. You know those Tootsie Pop suckers? The Tootsie Pops? I always cut my tongue on those because there's like bubbles in it, you know, and when I'm sucking on it, like the bubbles kind of like, you know, it melts because I'm sucking on it, and then there's like little pockets of air, and the little pockets create like really, really sharp like thingies, and I always cut my tongue on them, like always. Does anybody else have that issue? My hair. Or is it just me? Maybe I'm just weird. I don't know. Maybe I lick it too hard. I might lick it too hard. I don't know. But yeah, you just gotta be careful with it and stuff. And then once you all like crack it and stuff into like little pieces or whatever, then you want to make sure you put like powdered sugar on it. That way they don't stick together. you know, when you're like putting them in a Tupperware, or you're gifting them to people, or putting them in a Ziploc baggie, or however you're, you know, storing them, you want to make sure you put powdered sugar on them. Otherwise they will just stick to each other. And instead of having a lot of little pieces, you'll just have like one big clump. Yeah. Powdered sugar is really good to like make sure they don't stick together. Unless you're doing suckers. If you're doing like lollipops and suckers, then you don't need powdered sugar. Then you just, you know, wrap it up in like plastic or like wax paper or like whatever it is you're gonna wrap them in. So that's how you make hard candy. Yeah, you gotta do it very, very carefully because like I said, it's like magma hot. It's not like ice cream. Story time! Yay! Since we're on the subject of like hard candies and stuff, let's do a story about carnival. Yeah. So once upon a time, there was this carnival that came into town, right? With a big old tent with the stripes. And there's a lot of kids running around with cotton candy, and there's clowns and like not extortionists. What do you call them? Contortionists. There's like contortionists and like all kinds of things. Yeah. So there was this little girl and this little boy, and they were twins, but fraternal twins, you know, not identical because it was a boy and a girl. And they were running around the carnival and stuff and, you know, having fun. And their parents were, you know, well, their mom, she works hard. She works 2 jobs because they don't have a dad. Dad left them when they were babies. Yeah, it was really sad. So yeah, the mom works really hard, and the kids really wanted to go to the carnival, and mom was like, yeah, that sounds good. So she takes them to the carnival, and she's so tired she can't chase after them. So she lets them run around and stuff. Poor mom. And so they're running around and they're having a good time, and they see the clowns and they see all these things, and then they decide to go into the fun house, right? It's like you go in and there's all these different things, and then there's like mirrors everywhere, and you got to try to find your way through the mirrors. It's so fun. Well, then they ended up getting split apart. They like got lost. And it was kind of scary because like the boy went that way and the girl went that way, but they didn't know that they went the opposite ways, and they got lost. It was really sad. So the girl finally made her way out, and she was calling for her brother, but he didn't answer. So she was looking for her brother, and she couldn't find him, and she couldn't find him, and she got really scared without him. It was really sad. And so she goes to find mom, and mom's like, hey, where's your little brother? And she's like, I don't know, I lost him in the fun house. And she's like, oh no. So mom gets up and they go look in the fun house, and they can't find him anywhere. He's missing. And so they tell one of the like security people there at the carnival, and then they call in like a code like blue or whatever. There's a code for missing kids. Yeah. So then everybody starts looking for this little boy. Nobody can find him. Yeah, and even like the clowns and stuff and like the workers of the carnival are looking for him, and they can't find him anywhere. They even check all in the fun house. They go into like behind the doors and the places you're not supposed to go, thinking maybe he slipped in, you know, into like a utility closet or, you know, behind the scenes. But he wasn't there. They literally couldn't find him anywhere. And it was so sad. Mom and the little girl had to go home without him. Yeah, and they looked and looked and looked for him, but they could not find him anywhere. It was really sad. We don't know what happened to him. Yeah, so then like days went by and they still never found him, and it was really sad. And the police were like interrogating all of the carnival people, like the guests and all of the workers, and there was no leads. Like nobody saw him. They didn't have security cameras here because it wasn't like a super fancy like carnival. And so the boy just was missing. So then years went by, and the little girl grew up, and the mom, you know, she got older and stuff, and then pretty soon the girl had to take care of her mom. So they still lived together and stuff, and the girl had a full-time job and everything. She became a nurse, and she was working at the local hospital. And every year the carnival would come back into town, but they never went back to it because, you know, it was bad memories. Well, some of the kids from the hospital wanted to go to the carnival that came into town. And as a nurse, you know, she was voluntold. She didn't really want to because she didn't like going to the carnival, but her bosses were like, no, you need to take them. You're on duty and they want to go and it's your job, so you got to take them to the carnival. So she takes all the kids from the hospital to the carnival and they all have a fun time, and she makes sure she double triple checks that they don't run off or go anywhere because she doesn't want to lose any, so she makes sure they're all together and stuff. And it's just really scary for her because she hasn't been back there since she was a little girl and she lost her brother. Yeah, it's really scary. But then all of a sudden she sees a little boy in the distance and it looks just like her brother, and she gets distracted by it and she goes and chases it. And she leaves the kids, and the kids are actually okay. They're just sitting there eating like their cotton candy and their ice cream and stuff. And she goes and chases after him, and she ends up in the fun house and she's looking for him, and she ends up in the mirrors room again, and it's the same. It's like it never changed. It was crazy. And she sees him in the mirrors and she's like, brother! And she tries to chase him, and she chases him, and she chases him, but she can never get him. And it's so scary and it's so sad. Yeah. And then she comes back out because then she loses her brother again in the fun house, and she makes her way back out and she's like, oh, the kids, what have I done? And she goes back and she rushes to the kids and they're all fine. They're all happy and eating their like cotton candy and ice cream and stuff. It was a really scary moment for her because she could have sworn she saw her little brother again. Yeah. So the kids have fun and they end up going back to the hospital. At the hospital, as she's tucking in the kids, each one by one and stuff, she gets to the last kid, she tucks him in, says, did you have a good time at the festival, at the carnival? And the kid's like, yes, it was the best day I've had in a long time. And it's really sad because all these kids are sick, like some of them are okay. Some just have like a little sickness, but some of them, are terminally ill, so it's really sad. So she wanted to make sure they had a good time. Yeah. And then as she's turning off the lights and stuff, she goes into the hallway of the hospital and she looks and she sees this little boy, and it looks like her brother again. And she's so confused. She tells the nurses at the desk, like, I'll be back. And they're like, okay. And she goes and she walks toward where the little boy was, and she looks around for him and she doesn't see him again. It's like her little brother is haunting her ever since the carnival came back into town. The end. Oh, my ice cream's pretty much gone. Gotta eat. My cherry. Yeah, maraschino cherry. And even my kitty finished theirs. Aw, she's such a good girl. I love my kitty. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on this Sunday. I hope you liked it. I always like doing these. They're so fun. It's like a vlog, but with ice cream and like all kinds of fun stuff that I like talking about. Yeah. How do you think the story should end? Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, write down in the comments below. How should the story end? I don't know. I need help writing the story. So if you could please write down in the comments below how the story should end. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you like my content. I do Sundays every Sunday. And I've been playing a lot of Minecraft more lately. It's a lot of fun, oh my gosh. And I'm getting ready to play some more games too. So make sure you stick around for those. Yeah, but thank you. Bye-bye. I didn't mean for it to become a ghost story. It just kind of happened. Excuse me. My kitty. She looks full.